I'm here with Luke, the Senior Property Manager with Powell Property, and I suppose we're here to talk about an array of issues. Mainly about, Luke, your experience at Powell Property. You're in the business 6 years, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, 6 years. Over a year and a half at Powell's Property at the moment now as well. It's moving fast. It's a great environment to work in. There's a lot of advances in technology and stuff with the rental market and stuff at the moment. I suppose with a lot of landlords, they think that managing a property is very easy. It's quick and easy to get tenants in and all that, but there's a lot of steps to it, a lot of things to be done prior that they don't really take into consideration, I suppose.
Yeah.
For instance, taking on a property on itself seems easy enough, but there's a lot of regulations and a lot of things you have to go by. So things like alarms, safety equipment, all these sort of regulations have to be run through when we're onboarding a property as well.
I think the conception, though, or the misconception by a landlord is you take it on, you rent it, it's easy to find a tenant, and you collect the rent and you forget about them. I think that's the misconception.
That's the misconception.
So just tell me about, obviously, if I'm a landlord with Powell's and there's a property coming up, and so where are we now, the 29th of October, say in 3 or 4 weeks time, what do you do?
Well, meet up with the landlord at the property primarily first, just to see what the property is like, try and get an overview of what kind of rent would be available for the property, and discuss things with the landlord himself or herself. We obviously look at the property then and inspect it thoroughly to make sure it's adhering to rental regulations, and line up any works that are needed for any anything that's needed. Could be anything at all, window restrictors, bit of painting, anything small like that. Line it up in a couple of weeks in advance. That'd be for new properties, but also for current properties that we manage as well. Would be a case where if the tenant's moving out in a couple of weeks, we'd normally line up a pre-move out inspection prior to them moving out, just to get eyes on the property, see what needs to be done, see what needs to be lined up, because we don't want the landlord to go at any stage without any rent. We hope for a case where it's a very minimal window where the place is vacant, and within that minimal window we can get any works that are needed to be done completed in that time to have it ready for rent.
So what you're saying really is you're really maximising, if a landlord is on board with Powell Property and they're a customer, you're kind of going out 3 to 4 weeks in advance. You have the works pre-organised, and effectively there's a 3 to 5 day turnaround, so there's no income loss effectively.
No income loss. We try our best to do that with no income loss at all. For any properties that are coming up, we'd have a clear idea of when tenants are moving out, and we'd work with them to try and make sure we get access to line up any works that are needed and all that. But we serve the customer, we serve the landlord, so it's up to us to make sure that they're getting the maximum out of their investment as possible.
And something I've noticed, Luke, is when we're doing a let-only service, where we're obviously just finding the tenant, checking the references, going through a rigorous vetting section, I find what happens is the property is emptied. There's no pre-inspection done, because in 12 months' time the landlord brings you on the 29th of October and says, oh, the property's actually vacant now. There's no tradesmen lined up, there's no works lined up, so effectively they're losing out on a month's rent by doing a let-only, by self-managing. Whereby
even longer again, because with a month's rent it might be 2 months, because again the difference between having a company like ourselves take care of your property, we'd have access to a lot of contractors that will work exclusively for us. So we have a quicker turnaround for works, whereas some landlords and stuff may not have access to that.
And I suppose having the kind of different systemization, different departments in our office works quite well. I think we have a full-time maintenance team which is actually effectively liaising with our tenants on our own app. And all reactive maintenance is kind of scheduled there. So again, everyone can really focus at what they're good at.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone can focus on what they're good at. There's no overlapping positions or anything like that, no one getting in each other's way. So it's effective, and it's very transparent for the landlord as well, because they'd also have access to this app and they can see if anything needs to be done or what's being lined up and all that as well. So,
and again, like they've online access to their accounts. We've a dedicated team on the regulatory side to deal with any RTB issues. We have an accounts department, obviously, and again, this is very helpful, I think, supporting the landlord's needs and our customers get the best experience.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And as a landlord, I suppose the main thing you want is as less stress as possible with properties, because you could have an issue where midnight, big leak in the house, you don't know what to do, you might have to call someone, all that, but if you have a company like ourselves, we'd be the ones that have a 24/7 emergency line, so we can take care of it.
And I suppose what I want to do as a company owner, to ensure that we actually employ our own contractor who attends that.
Yeah.
So if there is an out of hours service, it's not a call centre, it's a direct employee, they'll be there within an hour and a half. I think one issue that we're kind of having at the moment is we're trying to get landlords to buy into going on a master key system. Yeah. Because I suppose what happens is if there's an escape of water in the middle of the night and the keys could be out with, we could be doing a routine gas boiler service. Yeah. The keys are out on a Thursday with that particular contractor, and then we have a leak in the middle of the night, Thursday night, we can't get access. You know, so again, the damage is caused. So again, it's something we encourage from a systemization point of view, and that's something we're trying to implement at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and that again would save landlords money down the line as well, because if you leave an issue go like that, it'll cost more and more and more as long as it goes. But if you get it started quickly, like we would, there'd be no issue at all going forward.
And just skipping on there as well, like obviously, I know obviously you've worked in the industry for 6 years. You can see that we invest in staff, we train staff. And again, I think this Friday we're out of office looking at our systems and process and see how we can improve. How do you find the training or the culture that we bring?
No, I think the culture is great in the office. As you know, it's a good environment to be working in. The training's very good as well. It keeps us going, keeps us working towards something as well. We're not stagnant, staying where we are, which is very, very good overall. And I think there's a lot more to learn as we go and a lot more things to do. But it just keeps progressing as each day goes.
And again, something that we're looking at doing, because again, we've been at, like, I think the number of phone calls we're getting from advice from maybe our own customers, let-only customers, even when you check a reference, I believe when you're speaking to maybe a landlord, they're asking for advice about new regulations, which we touched on in the last conversation. And we're gonna look at running a webinar, because we need to give people information. Yeah. Because I think the stats are about 80% of the private market, they're self-managed. And I suppose what we want to do is help those people and keep them informed. So why we help our own customers, we try and inform possibly new customers too.
Yeah. No, a webinar is probably a good option for that as well, because, like we said, touched on before, a lot of these landlords are confused with the regulations coming in. That's one of the reasons why we're getting a lot of calls over the last few months as well, because of these changes. A lot of landlords are wondering what to do, and some of the information out there isn't very accurate or isn't very good. So I think the webinar that we're going to be running soon will be very informative and helpful for landlords.
And again, I think what I mentioned in one of my previous videos before is there's over 500 changes to Residential Tenancy Act since it was enacted. So I think a webinar is going to probably a quarterly thing that we're going to do going forward, you know.
Yeah, well, the changes come so quick and fast that it's something that has to be done. Yeah. And the advice given on the changes isn't quick enough and isn't up to date enough for landlords to be clued in completely. Yeah. So definitely information is needed, and the seminar is definitely the way to go for that.
And just with the technology, like, I understand that between tenancies that you do a video survey.
We would, yeah.
Tell me about this.
So between tenancies that we do a video survey of the property to just get a good idea of what the property is like and all that, what shape it's in, and carry out any checks that are necessary. Again, this is for the landlord's benefit, to make sure that his asset or her asset is being maintained to a high quality, and that is being kept to a high quality, and to make sure that it can be rented out as soon as possible.
I think when I was speaking to the maintenance team recently on a management meeting, they were saying the video is really helpful because they can actually look inside the property, they can identify the issues, they can touch it nearly, even though they're at their desk, and they can give very clear instructions to contractors, which saves our customers money. Again, I think a lot of other agents are sending contractors out too easily. We really care about their gross to net return, and I think that's why we retain and we grow. Yeah. And again, something that I was looking at recently is that our level of detail compared to your other agents around, we're now looking at, because we have a vast amount of properties, we're now looking at the dates and inventory base of when a mattress is going into a property.
Yes.
So again, that level of detail builds trust, and it gives comfort with the landlord that they can sit back and enjoy just passive income.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I think as well, another thing to add on to that our maintenance team will cover as well, that takes a lot of pressure off the landlord, is things like annual boiler services,
Yes.
fire servicing of fire equipment throughout buildings or apartments and all that as well. So that we have that on a system that keeps up to date itself, so it takes the stress out completely.
100%.
Whereas if you're an individual, maybe managing 5 or 6 properties yourself, that can be quite a handful.
So again, we protect the landlord, we keep them compliant, we make sure the boiler is serviced, we make sure the fire alarm is done, you know, that there's no risk to maybe an insurance claim being, you know, spoiled, really, because again, if something isn't done, they look for ways out. Yeah. You know, and one other thing that we were looking at as well recently is when we're looking at, we do a lot of portfolio reviews. So we call this own door 10 apartments, 12 apartments, 16 apartments. So one thing that we recommend quite a bit, and it's something that we've looked at, is we do preventative maintenance. So we know every year inside an own door with 5 or 6 apartments, the shower doors need to be resealed, the taps, the U-bends need to be checked. So again, something that we implement in our structure is that we send our contractors with a detailed checklist. It might be 2 contractors for a day, but again, this cuts out on call-outs, costs. That's a full kind of thorough health check once a year, and it saves that landlord significant money.